channel and to a new video. Hope you're all doing really well this week. I've just poured myself a lovely cup of hot coffee because it is freezing today. Oh my goodness, it's Thursday actually. Thursday morning I've just been to the hairdressers, ventured out in this awful weather we are having. Hope you're all doing okay. We haven't had the snow here, but we've got torrential, icy feeling rain, and it is about -3 outside. Well, it might not be quite that cold actually. My car said it was -1 when I went to the hairdressers this morning, and that was pretty early. But it does feel rather nippy outside, so I hope you're doing really well this week and staying in the warm as much as possible. If you're not, I highly recommend that you do so. And there's quite a lot to show you this week. I've got some beautiful roses. Look at that. I know it's not quite Valentine's Day yet, but I have been gifted some beautiful red and pink roses from Paul, aka the Invisible Chef. Talking of which, the Invisible Chef is back this week. He made a really lovely meal for us all the other day, which consisted of a main course dish and a pudding, but there's 3 dishes involved. So you're going to see that this week. It's a Turkish inspired lamb dish, which was yummy, totally yummy, together with a potato and olive casserole and a chocolate and mini egg brownie dessert. That diet has not started yet that I was planning on doing at the start of start of January. Absolutely not. That diet has not started yet, but it was absolutely gorgeous and it is in this week's video for you. I have also carried on with a little bit more sorting out, but I've had a very busy week. Mum has had quite a lengthy appointment with the ladies that will be seeing over her now she's had her Alzheimer's disease diagnosis, and so I've got a lot to talk to you about that. There's been some really helpful advice and tips given to me. I've got quite a lot of reading to do. I've been given a book called How to Care for Someone with Dementia, which is very detailed, and it was quite a reassuring appointment. It was a very pleasant appointment. I've also since purchased some dementia aids that will help Mom along, so you may be interested in seeing those. If you have just recently been diagnosed, or somebody in your family or someone you care for has recently been diagnosed with any form of dementia or particular Alzheimer's disease, it's a very emotional time, I know, and there's a lot to take on board and a lot to consider, but you also still have to consider very much living in the moment and living for today and not planning what if might happen or what could possibly happen in the future, but just being a little bit educated about the disease will sort of hopefully see us through these next stages. Anyway, I'll talk to you a little bit more about that a little bit later on. Have managed to get Nancy, aka Mom, out and about this week, so I've got a few bits and pieces to show you. So I'm going to finish getting warmed up now I'm back from the hairdressers with my coffee, leave you with this week's video. I hope you enjoy it. So I'm back this week with a haul, a B&M and a Lidl haul. I've been to both shops today in one day. I did take Nancy with me, but I haven't filmed Nancy today. We weren't out that long actually because the weather is pretty cold today and a lot rainy, a bit ferocious, and actually Mum wasn't too good today, so we got the forgetteries at quite a significant level today, so she wasn't really up to chatting. She certainly wanted to get out and about and have a look around B&M, or Bloody Marvellous as she calls it, so we did, but it was cold. I didn't want to keep her out too long, so I've got her home quite quickly, but I will show you what I've picked up. First of all, some home-weary things. These were £3 each. They're plastic and they have a cork top, and I bought these decanters for kitchen detergent and fabric softener, and I thought they would look quite nice actually on the worktop. Now that my worktop's a bit clearer, now I've got my new unit and I've sorted things out a bit. But if you are trying to save cupboard space, and if you saw my video last week, you'll see that I cleaned underneath my sink, that cupboard there that doesn't have a lot of room at all. If you are short on space, having something like that with your detergent or your fabric softener in, or if you use those softening and scented balls, you know, like the Lenore ones and what have you, you can put them in there and they look quite colourful and nice on the worktop, I thought. So I really liked those. They were £3 each. I think they did only have detergent and softener. I don't think they had one for had another label, but you can buy these without any wording on in B&M as well, and you can buy the wording separate. So, you know, you might want to put cotton wool buds or something in those, and you can buy the labels separately, but I'm going to make use of those. That's lovely. What else did I get from B&M? Oh, I got some things to go in them. So I got some Ariel liquid detergent. That was a big one because it was a 25% extra free one. That is for cold washes and short washes. Brilliant in cold and short washes. I do quite like Ariel. Have to be a bit careful with some things that I wash. I use a lot of non-bio in my house, certainly for sheets and towels because of irritating people's skins. But if it's my clothing and I want it to smell a little bit nicer than non-bio, I tend to go for Ariel. And to go in the fabric softener decanting jar, I got some Spring Awakening, some Lenore Spring Awakening, and that is one of my go-to favourites that isn't a non-bio, or a sensitive rather, in a fabric conditioner. For the sensitive range I always go for Fairy or Comfort Pure, but those ones are going to be predominantly for my clothing and not towels. I also got a picture frame that I really loved. It's really cute. And whilst I could keep the picture that's in it, I'm going to swap it for something else. But this was £4. Oh, look at that. They do a dog one as well. And it says, home is where the cat is. And they have one that says, home is where the dog is. But doesn't that look like my Albert? Just like it. That's what attracted me to it in the first place. But I am going to swap that picture for a picture of my two, Albert and Mila. And I thought that was really cute. Definitely home is where the cat is, or cats are, it should say, for my house, plural. But I thought that was quite cute, only £4. That was a nice little homey kind of purchase. I also got these. Now, they came up big, so they're actually half a size smaller than I would normally wear in a shoe, but I got these that are called Active Walkers. They're on the way around, look. There we are. Active Walkers, and they'd got these in sparkly black and sparkly grey, but they do them in whole sizes only. So I'm normally a 6.5, but when I tried on the 7, it was massive. When I tried on the 6, it was perfect. They were £10 and I think they are great. And to be honest, I'm going to use those for pottering in and out of the garden. I don't think they're that sturdy that they would last on a long walk or to be used a lot. But I think they would certainly be great for just pottering about the house or doing a few jobs. If I was just walking around the corner to mum, or as I say, I'm taking the bins out, going into the garden. For £10, bargain. And they seem to have a very good selection of sizes as well. So I was very impressed with those. I picked up some of my favourite Febreze bathroom air fresheners. I always buy these in 3 because I have a family bathroom, an ensuite bathroom and a downstairs WC. So I have effectively 3 toilet rooms. But this scent is one I've not seen before. It's a limited edition in Crocus and Bluebell. And one of these, that one, had got the scratch and sniff little thing on it there. So I was able to smell it. It's really fresh and spring-like, which I really liked. And that's not one I've tried before. I normally go for the Spring Awakening or the, is it cotton or cotton linen? It's something like that. But this smells really fresh and nice. So I've gone for that. And to match it in the same range, the limited edition air freshener, also in Crocus and Bluebell. I feel like I'm getting into the spring, even though the weather suggests otherwise. I got some hair conditioner. I've gone for the Aussie Miracle Moist. Now, I have recently been using Olaplex, and I managed to get some at an outlet village not too long ago that was on offer. And I liked it so much, I then bought it off Amazon. And to be honest, it wasn't any much more of a different price on Amazon than it was at the outlet. So I've been using that. Now my hairdresser, I've been to the hairdressers this morning, puts Olaplex treatment when she does my colour in with my colour. But she noticed today when she was drying my hair, she said, have you changed your conditioner? And I said, yes, I've been using Olaplex. And she went, oh. I thought, that's not the reaction I thought I was going to get. She said, brilliant for treatments, not great for shampoo and conditioner. Really? I was quite surprised, but she tells me that especially for somebody like me that's got very thick hair, coarse hair and bleached hair, it's not very good because it's very, very drying. And I have actually noticed that this section of my hair here has gone a little bit more dry. So while she's a big fan of the Olaplex treatment, she's not of the shampoo and conditioner. And she said, try and limit your use. Because interestingly, the first time I used it, my hair felt gorgeous. But I've used it every wash for about 2 or 3 weeks now. And I just had started to notice just this last week, my hair felt a little bit drier than normal. And again, you know me, I put it down to things like weather, menopause, could be related to some degree. Those things could be related. But she said, no, use it as an as and when or a once a month. She said, but don't use it regularly on your kind of hair. And I said, well, if I'm just going to B&M or I'm going to the supermarket, what would you recommend? And she recommended this, and this actually is already one of my favourites, and I haven't bought it for a bit. And as soon as she said it, I thought, oh yes, that one does suit my hair. You are quite right. So this is the Aussie Miracle Moist conditioner with Australian macadamia nut oil in. So it does replenish dry hair quite well. So I picked up one of those in B&M. I also got some stationery bits. I bought some Papermate Ink Joy pens. I really like these. I really like my handwriting with these, and I've got the blue and black ones at work. And I've got a lot of the blue ones here, but I don't know if, like me, in your house, pens do disappearing acts all the time. So anyway, I bought this multi-pack, which has also got red in it as well. And that was a really good value, better than when I bought Papermate off Amazon. But I also got some sticky notes. I'll come back to sticky notes a bit later, because there's another reason why I thought about buying these. But I liked these because they were all in different shapes. So I got this one that is a star. You can't really see it in the packet. A star-shaped Post-it sticky note in yellow. I got a very February-themed pink heart one. These are going to look nice on my desk at work. And I bought one for Grace, a G for Grace. They had all the letters of the alphabet, which I thought were quite different, quite cute. So that's for Grace. Whenever I see her, she can have that. And I also got in B&M a little treat. This was only £7, and it's a really nice little basket, a woven material basket that's quite sturdy, I must say. For £7, I was very impressed. That is actually going to house some toilet rolls in my downstairs WC, because it's one of those rooms where I forget to keep topping up the toilet roll, and I often get shouts up the stairs of, Mom, there's no toilet roll again in the downstairs loo. And I thought, I know what we'll do. We'll put some storage in the downstairs loo. So that is going to house the toilet roll in the downstairs WC. Now, what else have I got? Bear with me. Oh, yes. I also got, you know how I like to put a bit of laundry detergent in my washing machine? Most washes, particularly Grace's workwear, because Grace is a carer. So she's often mixing with poorly people, poorly patients. So anything that I think needs a bit of a detergent run through the cycle. I'm a big fan of the Dettol laundry detergent. I've used, I think, was it either a Lidl or Aldi's own brand? I've used Morrison's own as well. I tend to go back to Dettol as much as I can, but I only buy it when it's on offer because it is actually quite expensive. But today I found a new one for me anyway, in the Fabulosa range. And this is in the scent of Cotton Fresh, and it smells really nice. This will cleanse your laundry up to 20 washes, even in a cold wash at 20 degrees, and eliminates all the odours. And it gets rid of 99.9% of viruses and bacteria that can cause unpleasant smells, and freshens your laundry, leaving it hygienically clean. And as I say, it's in cotton fresh, and you actually put that into the, oh, it's lovely. Actually, it smells like, it smells a bit like baby powder and fresh linen. That's quite lovely, really fresh, really like that. But you actually put that in the fabric conditioner section of your washing machine, so it goes in at the end of the cycle, and that way it gets into all the fibres and stays in the fibres, makes it hygienically clean. So I'm looking forward to trying that. It's got obviously the official Cleans Viruses little sign on it, so that was that. I also got some very box standard bleach Domestos. I do like this white one, white and sparkle, in my toilets. I do sometimes buy toilet gel, toilet duck, whatever you want to call it, but I really don't like the toilet when it has the toilet duck stains inside. So, you know, you buy a green one or a blue one, and I sort of put it down. I think, oh, that smells nice. And then you go back a few minutes later and think, oh, it's all blue and inside, and it's all kind of lines, and it's all like, it doesn't look clean to me. That's ridiculous, isn't it? It doesn't look clean to me. It just looks like it's all stained and horrible. And then I get the brush round it to get rid of the colour, and then I'm flushing away the product. So I do actually prefer a white sparkly bleach down the loo. It does what it needs to do, and it doesn't make anything a different colour. So that's why I buy that one. And then, I just bought a little box of tissues for my desk at work. I ran out of those. And I then got the rest from Lidl. So in Lidl, bargain of the week. Now this is something that I used to buy in B&M, and I have not seen in B&M for months, definitely weeks, months. Every time I go in, I look for this and I can never find it, and I really like it. Found it in Lidl, and not only did I find it in Lidl, it was on offer at £1.30 each. I got my very favourite Bin Buddy. Love it, love it. This gets rid of smells in your indoor bins. It keeps your bins fresh and clean for days. Not that my kitchen bin stays in the kitchen for days. It tends to fill up within a day, generally 2 days at the most. But a little sprinkle of that controls the smells in your particularly kitchen bin. It soaks up any liquids as well, and it comes in different fragrances. There was another one that had like an orange top. That's more of a pink. It doesn't look pink on here, but it is. Pink, which is berry, and purple, which is spring blossom. Both of those I like. And there was an orange one as well, which was like a tropical scent, and I didn't like that at all. I don't know why, just preference, personal preference. I didn't like that. But these were £1.34 each. These, when I did last see them in B&M, these had got really expensive. And you don't need much. I like the fact they're in the little wheelie bin shape as well. They come in a little powder, you just see in there, and you just sprinkle a little bit inside your bins, your inside bins, as I say, particularly a kitchen bin that's got your food waste in, and it keeps it smelling lovely. So you don't have any of those nasty odours coming out of the bin. I got a bunch of bananas, because I need my bananas in the morning with my cereal before I go to work. And then I got another bargain in Lidl. One of those purchases that I wasn't expecting to make today, but it was £20, and I'm really pleased. And I need this because, well, I need it anyway, but the invisible chef is always saying to me, you haven't got enough pots and pans, and you haven't got enough of this, and you haven't got enough of that. I think, well, tell you what, I'll turn myself into an official restaurant, shall I? But anyway, I found this cast aluminium serving pan, £20 in Lidl. Shall I open it and show you? It's really good. There was one already open, which is why I know it's good, because I had a good look at it. I'm going to need the scissors, hang on. Bear with, let's open it, and the sooner we open it, the sooner this box can go in the recycling, can't it? So that's good. Oh. I've got a poorly finger, you see that? Really hurt myself the other day, and every time I try to do something, I'm a bit cautious of catching it. Rushing, you say I was. Rushing, trying to get it all done. You know what it's like. Okay, so there... Oh, hang on. I don't want to break anything. Let's see if I can get it out of my lap. There we go. Okay, so that is the cast aluminium serving pan, which is going to be really good for things like casseroles, chilies, spaghetti bologneses, curries. There you go, loving that. It is suitable for all hobs, including induction hobs. £20, love that. And also comes with a lid, obviously, which I will show you. It has been given 5 stars, professional 5 stars on the packaging. I need to read more about that and see what exactly that means. But there's your lid, which has got the silicone draining edges too. Can you see that? So you can have the lid on, and if you are draining liquids, you can just keep the lid on and do that, and the liquid will pour out of the silicone holes at the top. I thought it was very chic looking, very nice, very heavy, very sturdy. And actually, I'm doing a spag bowl tonight, so I'm going to use it. Swiss technology, apparently, in that. Swiss professional technology, ultimate. And that's all I know about it until I use it, but I liked it. I like the look of it. And I think today I've had a fair few bargains. So that is my little B&M and Lidl haul for this week. So I've carried on with my little kitchen declutter this week, and I've gone back to my little pantry because this hasn't been done now since before Christmas, and now I've got my new little unit on the other side of the kitchen. I've been able to move some things around and sort things out, so now it's time to tidy this up and make even more room. So this week, the Invisible Chef treated us to a lovely variation on a Sunday dinner. We actually had a Turkish stroke Lebanese inspired lamb dish with a Turkish potato and olive casserole, and also brownie and mini egg dessert. It was all absolutely delicious. He used boned stewing lamb and actually flavoured this with Lebanese spice and paprika that we had in the cupboard. And this recipe was actually found on TikTok. So you need to chop up your onions and put a bit of oil in the pan and start to pack tightly your pieces of lamb. And you want to pack this as tightly together as possible and fill up the casserole dish as much as possible, tucking it all into all the gaps. You need to then season well with salt, and then the Invisible Chef got on to getting the garlic ready. You want to leave the garlic as whole cloves, and then you want to actually push them into the lamb, between all the gaps as much as you possibly can, in between all the lamb, all around the outside and the inside of the pot. And then you want to do the same with your shallots. After adding plenty of butter to the top, then want to put some baking paper or greaseproof paper over the top. Put the lid on it, then it goes into the oven for about 3 to 4 hours. Whilst that then was cooking nicely in the oven, the Invisible Chef got on to making our dessert, which was a chocolate and mini egg brownie dessert. So to begin with, we needed to melt the butter and the chocolate over a saucepan in a glass bowl. This was 200 grams of butter and a very, very large bar of chocolate. That didn't take long to melt at all. And for this recipe, you're also going to need 300 grams of caster sugar, 3 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk, 100 grams of plain flour, 200 grams of cocoa powder, and as many mini eggs as you like. Once your butter and chocolate is melted, just pop it to one side while you get on and do your eggs and caster sugar, and you need to give it all a very good mix up together. I was allowed to get involved with this bit. My God, I did find it therapeutic. Bashing the Wotsits out of the mini eggs in a plastic bag, and what you need to do is then save half of those to one side. Then mix your butter and your chocolate in with your caster sugar and eggs. Give it a good stir and also give it a good whisk as well. You then need to add your flour and cocoa powder. Again, mix all this up really well until you get a really nice thick chocolatey texture. Then you want to add half of the mini eggs that you have crushed to bits. Again, mix all this up really well, and then you can transfer into your grease-proofed or lined baking tin. Try to make it as even as possible so it's all about the same depth, and then you want to sprinkle the remaining mini eggs on the top. Bake it in the oven at 165 degrees Celsius or around gas mark 4 for about 25 minutes. And whilst that was cooking, the Invisible Chef got on to the Turkish potato and olive casserole. Now this recipe is from a company called Abel & Cole, and you can go to their website for this and many other delicious recipes. It's abelandcole.co.uk, and this was a really different version and variation on how to have your potatoes. They were peppered with chilli, cumin and oregano, and studded with black pitted olives, finished with fresh mint, which made it go absolutely superbly with the lamb dish. once all those ingredients are pretty much cooked in the saucepan, you then want to transfer them into a baking dish and put them under the grill for a few minutes. This gave it a really lovely crispy texture. It was almost like crispy roast potatoes on the outside and mashed potato on the inside. Delicious. And there's the lovely fresh mint being sprinkled on the top, and it was ready to serve up. And it was a really delicious, very different Sunday afternoon, hearty winter recipe. And my goodness, there was not a scrap left. Even Albert, who'd been waiting very patiently to try it, officially got the first taste. I think he liked it. It might have just been slightly too spicy for him. So here we are, having our moment on the bed for this week. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit this week about always saying the right thing, or think that you're saying the right thing, and is it the right thing to do? Confused.com? Well, the reason I say it like that is because most of you, if not all of you, will know now that recently Mum's had her official diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. And everybody's different and everybody's personality is different. Mum is fiercely independent still at nearly 94 years old. But as like most of us, if probably not all of us, the one thing she's always said she would dread and hate is having any sort of dementia. And there's been a couple of people in our family that have had dementia previously over the years that are sadly no longer with us. But Mum's always been of that mind frame that, oh, I hope that never happens to me, and that's got to be the worst thing ever, and I'd rather die than have that. And she's always been very, very scared of anything like that. So getting this information through to her to help her understand this is what she's got without making her too frightened has been a bit like I've been treading on eggshells and wondering what the right thing is to say. And as I said earlier in the video, this week we had a really, really positive meeting with a lady that introduced herself by coming round to Mum's house. And she's part of the local memory team and part of the support group that Mum will now have. And she came to see us and her approach was perfect. It was perfect for Mum. But something interesting had happened the day before this lady came that I think may have helped, but at the time I wasn't sure I'd said the right thing. And what had happened is over the past few weeks, Mum, since her initial diagnosis and since she's been on the tablets, Mum will say things like, randomly when we're out and about, aren't I good for my age? And I'll say, yes, you're amazing for your age. And everybody here on the channel always asks how you are and loves to see you out and about. And they all think you're amazing for your age. And she goes, I'm not too bad, am I? I'm not too bad. She said, and she'll say that a lot. The other day we were out and she said, I'm not bad for an old doll, am I? And I said, no, you're brilliant, Mum. You're absolutely brilliant. She said, and I'm very, very pleased. There's nothing wrong with my memory. She said, that would be the worst thing ever. And I left it. I think we were driving at the time, actually. Well, I was driving at the time. And when we were back in the house a bit later on, she said something similar again. And she said, I'm not too bad, am I? She said, and I know, she said, I've got the forgetteries a bit, but it's nothing much, is it? She said, in fact, on the whole, my memory's amazing. She said, I'm just amazing. And I said, well, you are, Mum. I said, but you do have problems with your memory. I said, and you have got a bit of Alzheimer's disease. I said, you have got Alzheimer's disease. And she went, well, thank you very much. And she was a little bit abrupt. And I said, well, you have, and that's why you're taking these tablets. And she hadn't taken them that particular day, so I got her to take her tablets. And I said, and that's why you've got these tablets, because they're going to help to slow it all down a little bit so that you don't get this much worse quickly. And she sort of, shook her head a little bit. And I thought, well, there's no point me pussyfooting around this, but I also don't want to frighten her. So anyway, to cut a long story short, the next day came, this lady came to see us, and Mum was very calm and very open to listening to her. And the first question she had for her was, how are you, Nancy, since your Alzheimer's diagnosis? And Mum just looked at her, and she looked at me, and then she said, well, I'm not too bad, but I do know my memory's not good. And it was the very, very first time that Mum had said that and had acknowledged it. We had a different conversation the following day where she said her memory was great again, but she did actually say it for the first time. And then I thought maybe what I said the day before did make sense, and I had said the right thing, because there's no point ignoring it. She probably doesn't even realise what Alzheimer's disease is, really. And some days she might forget she's got the forgetteries, and some days she won't forget. So it's very difficult sometimes to know the balance and to know whether you have said the right thing, or if saying the right thing is the right thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it was a very positive meeting, and Mum seemed really pleased with this lady who took to her very, very quickly, and likewise. And I got some very useful information and lots of tips and tricks. And I've got a couple of things here that I've bought since that meeting just to show you. And the first thing that she told me was about, well, she noticed on Mum's coffee table she'd made lots of notes, and Mum does that. She'll write things down she's seen on the telly, and she'll write it down because it's something she'll want to tell me when I come home from work. Or she'll have a shopping list, or I don't know, there might be a telephone number, or it could be anything. Lots of bits of paper and bits of notes, generally of things she wants to remind herself to ask me. And this lady picked up on this, and she said, what you need to get is yellow paper or yellow card or yellow post-it notes. She said, I don't really know the reason why, but people with dementia focus very much on the colour yellow. It stands out to them. And for somebody that likes to make notes and have a bit of a memory board in front of them, post-it notes, yellow sticky notes, or yellow card or yellow writing paper is the way to go. So I've bought Mum some yellow sticky pads, and see how she gets on with that, because she does make lots of notes, so that could be useful. And the next thing I got was something called a dementia day clock, and this I found quite fascinating. I haven't put it together yet because I'm going to put it together in Mum's house, but I'll just show you the actual unit to begin with. That's the unit, that's the day clock. It comes with a remote control and a power cable, and when it's switched on it'll look something like that, and it will tell you not just the day, but it'll tell you what part of the day you're in, so whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, the time and the date, and then you can choose to have a little symbol here which is sun or moon. So even if they're just looking at the time, they can look at the time and see whether it's that time of the day or that time of the night. But it does lots and lots of clever things as well. So you can actually set alarms on it. You can set medication reminders on it as well. And you can customize it completely to your needs. You can have a whole list of different functions programmed into it that will all be different reminders. So you might want a reminder for going out, you might want a reminder for appointments. They even do a reminder to wake up if you have a little snooze or something like that. So I've got to figure out how to put all this together and get it set up in Mum's house. But it's quite aesthetically pleasing as well, isn't it? It's not, well, it is, it's quite modern looking. And if it sits next to her Alexa, I think she'll quite like that. We bought her an Alexa for Christmas, which she's pretty much got the hang of, which was really good because she likes listening to music. But those are just a couple of things that this lady advised me to get. And I've been given a lot of reading to do, and there's more to come in the post as well, apparently. But I do now feel as if I am supported, and Mum is supported from a professional point of view. We're in the system, and it does make a difference. It's nice to know that I've got someone I can call if something changed dramatically and I wasn't sure what I was looking at, or I wasn't sure, you know, if this is a different, this is a problem, a medical problem, or it's part of the dementia or anything like that. It's nice to have someone to speak to if I need to. So there's lots of information. And the other thing was that we talked a little bit about respite care. And we talked about all sorts of different things that would help support me as well as Mum. So there's quite a lot for me to still go through and do, and research and educate myself on. But that's the key really. It's now trying to be forearmed, educated, and but still going with the flow and still going day to day and not changing anything and trying to keep as routine as possible. The only other thing that happened was I had a conversation today with another lady who had actually got in her notes that Mum's diagnosis wasn't totally Alzheimer's, which is not what we've been told. I've been told it's Alzheimer's disease. She has a note that says on reassessment, it looks like Mum has a combination of what they call a mixed dementia, which is a combination of Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia. So I've been reading up on Alzheimer's. I haven't been reading up on vascular dementia. So I need to do that and see what we're looking at. But it would appear that she possibly has both. But there we go. That's what we are dealing with. That's where we are at. But I'm blessed to have a lovely family and a very supportive partner. And we're going to take each day as it comes. On a good note, on some good news, I have made a decision as to what I'm going to do in my kitchen, but I'm going to keep it a little bit of a surprise for you because it's actually happening a lot sooner than I expected. I decided that it would happen this year, but the universe has decided it's happening this week. Oh yes. So I've done some investigating and decided what I wanted and how I was going to do it. And I'm not doing it myself. I'd love to. I'd really love to. But I'd feel awful if I didn't get it just as I wanted. And I'd regret it. And I just simply don't have the time with work and looking after Mum. So I've gone down the road of employing a company that actually spray paint kitchens. So my kitchen will stay the same, my units will all be the same, but they're going to be painted professionally and then put back together. And when I booked these people, there was no date in the diary initially, and it was looking like it was going to be about a couple of months, about 8 weeks turnaround time. And then 48 hours later I got a telephone call to say we've had a cancellation next week, can we come and do it? Oh my goodness. So the answer was yes, why not? Let's just do it. Let's just do it while the rest of life is calm and it's a good moment to do it as well, isn't it? Good moment to do it. And going into the spring, it'll all be lovely and fresh and clean. So next week's video, hopefully I'll be able to show you how that's all gone. It should be completed in 3 to 5 days. So I'll be able to show you the progress and hopefully show you the end result in next week's video as well. I can't believe I'm saying that. My kitchen's going to be different this time next week. It's unbelievable. Anyway, hopefully, fingers crossed anyway, that nothing comes up in between now and then. I should be having that done. Plus it's Valentine's Day. So for any of you that are going to be doing something nice or like to celebrate Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day to you. And if you're not, happy Wednesday to you, regardless of what you're doing. But I love you all. So there's my love for you for Valentine's Day. And I will look forward to seeing you next week with hopefully quite a lot to show you in next week's video. But until then, stay safe, stay in the boat, and keep doing all things good. And I'll see you next Sunday. Take care.